Welcome to SOS Media, your number one source of the latest news, opinions, and in-depth investigations that dig deeper into today's developing stories around the globe. Boosie was born Torrance Hatch on November 14, 1982 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana and grew up on West Garfield Street. His mother Connie Hatch was a school principal whose father was a pastor. His father Torrance Hatch Sr. died in 1997. He was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes as a child. In 2009, Hatch was sentenced to 4 years in prison on drug and gun charges. In 2010 he was indicted on first-degree murder and was also sentenced to 10 years on multiple charges of drug possession with intent of distribution. In 2012, he was found not guilty of murder. After serving 5 years in prison for drug charges, Hatch was released early on March 5, 2014. On November 25, 2015 at the age of 33, Boosie revealed he had been diagnosed with kidney cancer but had successful surgery to remove the cancer. On November 14, 2020, which happened to be his 38th birthday, Boosie was shot in the leg after attending a candlelight vigil for rapper Mo3 in Dallas, Texas. Shortly after, it was reported that he may have to get his leg amputated, but on November 22, Boosie stated he was at home healing with no amputations. Lil Boosie, whose real name is Torrance Hatch, was detained on Wednesday after his attendance caused a commotion in the YNW Melly trial, where he displayed backing for the rapper who is on first-degree murder charges and potentially facing a death penalty if found guilty. An Instagram video shared by Boosie BadAzz last month led to his second arrest for felony possession of a firearm, the San Diego police said. Boosie had been very lucky to beat an ongoing possession of firearm case which was dismissed this recently, but he was re-arrested in court for the same offense after the feds saw his Instagram story having a gun with him in his waist. According to documents filed in court, the rapper was arrested after he was seen in an Instagram video with a handgun in his waistband, which he had previously presumably denied, insisting it didn't belong to him. Boosie's most recent arrest is linked to his early May arrest on gun-related charges. He however beat the case, which eventually was dismissed on Wednesday last week, but cops immediately arrested him shortly afterwards outside of the courtroom, on one count of felon in possession of a firearm. Rapper Boosie BadAzz was set to be released on bond on his federal gun charge after a judge rejected a request by prosecutors to keep him detained even longer, granting him a pretrial release. Though Boosie was granted the pretrial release on a $50,000 bond at a hearing on Tuesday, the government prosecutors swiftly asked for that order to be put on hold while they appeal the ruling. But in an order issued Wednesday, June 21, the judge denied the government that request. In the Tuesday order discharging Boosie from detention before the hearing, he was ordered to pay the $50,000 bond and surrender his passport to court. But important to note is that the judge had also permitted him to travel to perform, and travel to and from performances with advanced notice to the pretrial services. That came after Boosie had been compelled to call off a number of shows over this historic Juneteenth weekend, which many have always referred to as America's second Independence Day. As all this was unfolding, we came to understand that this particular case was based on an Instagram live or video post in which Boosie was allegedly seen with a gun on his waistband. The gun is truly visible in the video, though some people have referred to it as a toy gun while others speculate it could have been a big cell phone with something else on his waistband. The feds claim having analyzed the video and confirmed it was a gun. After this development, the feds sent out a helicopter to have a better aerial view. Now, when the judge granted Boosie bail, the documents were unsealed, revealing a lot more about what this case was based upon. The feds were watching the guy Instagram who actually recorded Boosie tagging him in the live. They also revealed that they had knowledge about the gang in this area on that street that they were associating with, and it is after watching all of them that they were then prompted to send a helicopter out. They then ultimately had to pursue Boosie, who was dressed in descriptive red pants, and eventually caught up with them. They went ahead and searched Boosie's car and discovered that there was a gun in the back seat. Now, the explanation about how they concluded that the gun belonged to Boosie remains vague. We can correctly argue that it could have been because of his past convictions and the fact that he is a convicted felon, that the feds concluded that the gun belonged to him. I can really tell you that the feds mean it when they feel they need you. The government has now filed a motion through its counsel Randy Grossman and Michael Wheat staying Judge Allison Goddard's release order. On June 20, 2023, the judge set terms of release for defendant Hatch, also known as Boosie or Lil Boosie. The United States moves this court for an order granted a state of the release order so that an appeal may be heard by this court, and setting a brief schedule for the hearing dated June 20, 2023 was respectfully submitted. The motion read in part. Definitely, this motion is meant to deny Boosie the bond the judge had granted him. Now, all of these documents and the Boosie Instagram video can be looked up by all those interested and analyzed to help you make a comparison between the Fed's explanations and how our fellow Americans are perceiving these developments. The Feds have explained how they looked at the Instagram live and saw that it was Boosie before sending a helicopters down for a ground patrol. Then they looked at a YouTube video and then finally said they were able to put all this together, concluding that the gun belonged to Boosie. Does this sound like a movie? We for sure cannot tell yet. I'm going to keep finding and sharing the available updates, but it now looks like Boosie needs more prayers than ever before. Boosie yesterday sent out a tweet asking San Diego residents to protest on his behalf. On the other hand, the government also insists that Boosie is a flight risk and danger to society whose detention is legally documented, has not broken any laws of the land. I am just wondering if this call for protests won't worsen his problems. I think Boosie would for now rather remain calm and leave the rest for his attorneys to handle. We actually know that if all the allegations about Boosie are true, then he violated his probation, but nevertheless, I think that Boosie's bail money should now be returned to him since the sole purpose of it has not come to pass. He should be allowed to present the slip for a payback and be given back his passport. It's not difficult for all those who have been following R. Kelly's legal problems to notice a similarity with what Boosie is going through today. I don't therefore think that the good relationship between R. Kelly and Boosie is because they are all celebrated artists, but rather strengthened by the challenges they have experienced under the Feds. Late last year, Boosie BadAzz shared 2 videos calling R. Kelly the best to ever do it, while playing a newly leaked album from the R. Kelly. He eventually shared 2 separate clips to Instagram that saw him dancing along to songs from a new R. Kelly project titled, I Admit It, which was briefly released on the same day. Boosie BadAzz has voiced his support for R. Kelly on multiple occasions in the past, but most recently following his 2021 conviction. People getting 15 to 20 years for murder and he gets 30. Boosie tweeted after R. Kelly's sentence was announced. He absolutely flipped out in a Vlad TV interview, claiming he knew of dozens of cases where the offenders had far worse offenses but were only given just 10 years in prison. According to Boosie, R. Kelly's alleged crimes, if at all they were true, amount to a little more than manipulation of women. Boosie also said he believed R. Kelly got railroaded on similar charges he was facing in 2008, and thinks much of that has to do with his race. R. Kelly is appealing both the New York and Chicago sentences. Thank you for watching today's video, brought to you by SOS Media. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of our videos. Also remember to leave your comment about today's topic in the comment section below.